How you doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope all is well. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys got a chance to watch that fight last night. That was quite the display of skills, intelligence, fortitude, mentality, toughness, perseverance. I mean, you can list so many of the top qualities that a human being possesses and put it in that fight, and that's what you get. Watching it live last night was so much tension. I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was so good. Watched it back this morning. It didn't quite have the same appeal, obviously, because it's watching it back. I was watching it with the sound off. We're going to get into all the scoring and all the controversies and detail the fight, at least from how I saw it. I'd love to hear from you guys, but I'll start with saying I scored it for Bivol by 1 round, right? Then there's a couple of rounds in there that I actually watched again, and I actually switched it round and gave that round to Beterbiev, so that ended up in a draw, right? I didn't have a problem if you gave Beterbiev a round 2. I had 2 or 3 swing rounds, which would have given Beterbiev the win by a round. But ultimately, I think personally, a draw is probably fair. I just, you know, I can see why a lot more people thought Bivol won, but you know, for me, it was difficult to score some of the swing rounds because there were so many ebbs and flows within the rounds. You know, Bivol got off to a really fast start. I think a lot of us thought he would, you know, counter punching his movement. Bivol's defense was absolutely exceptional, and that was a big difference in this fight. And his discipline, concentration, Beterbiev's patience, and just non-stop tenacity. You know, it must be so frustrating when you can't land the shots you're used to landing and you're chasing this guy around the ring. Chasing's a bit strong. Bivol, you know, wasn't running, he was boxing superbly, but it's got to be extremely frustrating for you as especially a power puncher, to not be able to really get your hands and land those clean shots. Bivol obviously landing the much more cleaner, eye-catching, accurate shots, and you know, more body shots too. I think Bivol was landing that nice sneaky hand to the body. Beterbiev later on started landing body shots, and actually that was one of the shots in the 5th round that I switched round because I saw Beterbiev landed a body shot and it kind of backed Bivol up. Now Bivol got hurt probably 2 or 3 times, and those, like, there was a round, I think round 7, I was like, all right, Bivol's winning this round. You know, he's more active and just landing more cleaner shots, and you know, he was fighting the fight he wanted to, because that was the thing too. If you're going to score it again, a bit like the Madrimov fight. Not saying the fight was the same at all. I'm just saying that you have to really put the criteria to its max with the ring generalship. You know, effective aggression, defense, clean, effective punches. They all came into play, and then when that's, you know, happening, then Beterbiev lands a shot that backs Bivol up in the 7th, actually. And in my keys to victory, I was like, Bivol can't get too carried away with when he reels off those combinations. He gets really into it. Don't do that. And the minute he did that, I said, Beterbiev punch with him, and he hurt him in the 7th, and he backed Bivol up. And for me, that was...
Oh, nice counter, right, left from Bivol, and he sends Beterbiev.
You know, a clear Bivol round until that happened.
Walking backwards, and now he's on the front foot. Combination punching. What answers does Beterbiev have here?
He's hurt. He might be hurt.
Same with the 5th. I don't know about a clear one in the 5th, but the 5th, I'll talk about the 5th because watching on Twitter, there was a few posts going around saying that CompuBox had Bivol landing 80% of his punches. Now, I know CompuBox is, you know, a bit wishy-washy, but so I knew that before watching the fight. So when I watched the 5th, I was expecting just a dominating round, and it was like, what? There was no way he landed 80%. Go and watch it. It was like Bivol had his fair share of landing on the gloves as well. Obviously, his defense was elite, and it was Beterbiev was landing most of his shots on the gloves throughout the fight, because Bivol was moving so much. It was like the angles that he was coming in on. Bivol knew where the shots were coming in. His high guard defense was outrageous. But you know, like in that 5th round, I just barely, the first time, barely gave it to Bivol, and then when I watched it back, I actually watched it back with the commentary on. The commentary actually helped me. Normally the commentary, like, you want to turn it off, but I didn't see the you know, definitely the effect that body shot had on Bivol, because they brought it to my attention. I was like, you know what, That definitely hurt him a little bit, and that backed him up, and that can be a sway. You know, Harold Lederman always used to say, who's doing more damage, you know, and that's like not necessarily one of the criteria, but that is, if you're just looking at it from the naked eye, like there is some factor of that. And if Bivol's backing up and he's, you know, not throwing as many punches, and Beterbiev's coming on with that urgency, that is eye-catching to the judges. So, man, incredibly difficult, some of the mid-rounds to score. Now, then the back end of the fight, obviously Beterbiev, part of the keys to victory as well, was like him managing the fight. And I thought he managed it quite well. He certainly took his time off here and there, but and like he's 40 years old. Do you know what I mean? That's incredible. These fighters are incredible human beings. What we witnessed in last night was just greatness. It really was. It's such a shame that you know, they always people come out and say robbery, and you know, like a lot of the back and forth, you know, gets taken away from just how special the fight was, at least from a performance point of view, because they didn't really make too many mistakes. You know, there were so elite athletes in there performing at the highest level, and we should really be focusing on that. But you know, credit to both of them. Congratulations to both of them putting on an amazing performance. And you know, I felt a bit disappointed for Bivol, but he was very gracious in defeat. And Beterbiev, you know, he didn't seem like he really, you know, he's kind of like that anyway, so it's hard to gauge from where they are. But he was like, you know, yeah, it didn't seem like he really thought he won. But I'm not saying that he didn't think that either. It's just the way their demeanors are, you know. That's just the kind of energy they're gonna always put on at the end, maybe because he didn't get the knockout too. Obviously, a lot has been said about Mark Ramsey's comments in the corner saying you need a knockout. Was that reverse psychology? Because if it was, it definitely worked, because Beterbiev really turned on the gas in 11 and 12. And Bivol, you know, he did in an interview, he was saying, you know, how he felt like he was doing enough, but you know, then you're in the situation of like, he was getting a bit hurt. I think he got hurt in the 11th, and he was definitely getting a bit of pressure on him and having to deal with that. Probably tired, both really tired, you know what I mean? So it's probably smarter to not try to let your hands go and get, you know, hurt even more if you think you're already winning. But I'm not saying he did. I don't know why he. I was disappointed is a strong word, but I was expecting him to maybe let his hands go a little bit more and really just seal the deal. Basically, that's the one round, you know, like you put so much in, seal the deal. But nonetheless, it was just a fantastic performance from both guys. I did not have an issue with either way. You know, I did have it a draw, or when like, you know, watching it without scoring it, I was like, probably a draw, but honestly, I was probably leaning towards Bivol just purely on optics, but I was at the same time, I can see Beterbiev maybe sneaking it, nicking it. But got to do a rematch, really. I don't know if they didn't seem that thrilled about the rematch. They're not saying they didn't want it, but I think Bivol was more about it. But who else are they going to fight? You know, there's talks of Beterbiev going up and fighting Artur. I mean, yeah. He's probably the only guy below heavyweight that might give him, well, definitely will give him a fight. But at the end of the day, it was a real joy to watch. And Dmitry Bivol, you know, again, I just think with his defense was just incredible, really. Like, you know, his high guard defense, you know, another key to victory. He cannot stay on the ropes, and he understood that, and he didn't. You know, he didn't give Beterbiev really. There was like maybe a couple of half moments where Beterbiev was able to, I think it was the 11th actually.
That's a great liver shot from Artur Beterbiev, and he's got.
That's when he got the damage done.
Bivol backed up, and this is where Beterbiev does his best work.
When Bivol was a little bit hurt on top of the other rounds, but there was a few shaving. Bivol was so tight with that high guard, and like it was just masterful, really, because no one's ever been able to do that. And Beterbiev was landing those shots that he likes to do from, you know, around the side, but they weren't clean. They were certainly getting through a little bit, but wow, just a tremendous performance from both guys. And Beterbiev, you know, on to the next. And you know, I don't really see, well, in a rematch, right? You always tend to favor the boxer but just because of the IQ that they've established and the rhythm and stuff like that. But you know, who would you favour in a rematch? I mean, do you think that would be the same again? Because Bivol fought such a perfect fight. Can he do that again? He doesn't have any room for error, really, you know, and he didn't really make any mistakes. Is he going to make making one mistake in a 24 rounds? I mean, you might have to think that because Beterbiev's punches, when he was shooting that sturdy shot like that, and it was hitting, obviously, Bivol's eye was from getting whacked, and it just shows you how stunning and how powerful he is. Because Bivol was just in full respect, and you know, he really felt those shots even without getting landed on. But he didn't make those mistakes. Truly tremendous performance from both guys. I think a draw is probably fair enough. But I can see why more people thought Bivol won, just because of the eye-catching shots and, you know, the counter-punching, cleaner shots, more consistently, more accurate. And, you know, just a better boxing display, but at the same time, you know, the pressure, the consistent, just front foot, will to win, you know, aggression, and, you know, he probably I wonder, like, the shots that he could have got in, you know, how he can get them in with Bivol moving around so much, because that was a big difference. Was the footwork and the movement and the high guard, and Beterbiev just couldn't seem to really get the. I mean, if you think about clean shots from Beterbiev, there weren't loads. In fact, one of them was when Bivol was countering him. But I'm rambling a little bit. It's probably time to wrap this video up. Let me know your thoughts if you have any on this fight. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm sure I've missed a bunch of stuff. There's always so many things that come out in a fight like this. I hope I captured all of it. And once again, thanks a lot for all the new subscribers. Welcome along to the channel. And I've got, really quickly actually, The Art of Perfection. This is the last time I'm going to talk about it. This is the Bivol documentary I've been working on for about 9 to 10 months, with collecting footage and just getting the pieces together, getting the music together. It is going to be an epic piece, and I'm actually really glad Bivol didn't get knocked out, because I was a bit worried, because I was thinking if he gets wiped out in a few rounds, that kind of puts a tarnish on the whole project, because you know, a lot of it is to do with his ability to train and bring his training methods into the fight and be perfect. And I saw a couple of interviews today which really resonated with me, because he's talked about how he wants to be perfect, and I was like, man, I'm going to use that. It's called The Art of Perfection. And it's his style. It's a Soviet style, but it's his training methods. It's his mental attitude, fortitude, toughness, skill, footwork. You know, all of it. It's going to be really good. And this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. It's just going to drop because you know, I've just been banging on about it for so long, and I meant to do it before the fight, and I actually didn't realize I was going away for that much time right before the fight. So that's why I didn't get it done. Anyway. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Peace and love to all. See you soon.
Because I'm in boxing since I remember myself. And all my coaches said me before, you can be the best fighter in the world. Because I'm in boxing since I remember myself, and all my coaches said me before, you can be the best fighter in the world.
boxing.
Only